Most AI products fail for one reason. Teams are still relying on PRDs, and that works when software is predictable, but AI is not. The same prompt can produce different answers every time, so vague specs like be helpful or be concise are not enough. The new way to build products is to use evals. Instead of documents, you define structured tests that measure what good looks like. Those evals become your spec, your acceptance criteria, and your launch gate. If you want to build AI products that actually improve, this is the loop you need. Now, if you've been trying to learn AI evals, you probably run into the same wall. There are a ton of tools out there and more showing up every month. And everyone's got an opinion on which one is the best. So you go down the rabbit hole, you read the docs, you watch a few videos, and most of the time it stays at the theory level. Here's what evals are. Here's why they matter. Here's a diagram. And then you close a tab and you still don't actually know how to set one up. So that's what this video covers. We're not here to talk about the whole landscape. We're here to share AI evals, how to actually implement them. This video is sponsored by Braintrust, the eval and AI observability platform that top teams like Ramp, Stripe, and Notion are using, and we really like them. We're going to show you exactly how to use it step by step inside the platform. Here on LiftoffPM, we've done a ton of videos on evals in theory, customer support bots, AI-generated video, AI avatars. Today, we're actually getting into the platform and doing it. No theory, just a real process. Before we get into this, quick note, I'm Kevin Wei, a staff PM formerly at Coinbase and Amazon, and this channel is all about helping you land your dream PM role. Besides those AI eval videos I mentioned, we've also got free lessons like our videos on how to answer metrics questions and how to answer trade-offs questions. And if you're enjoying our free videos and you're serious about acing your interviews, you gotta level up. That's where our paid course comes in. You can check it out by clicking the join button below. It's got everything you need to ace your interviews, from product sense to execution to strategy, and even those tricky behavioral questions. All right, now let's get into how to practically set up an AI eval. For this video, we're going to run a fun eval. We're going to answer the question, which default AI model makes the best friend? I know it sounds silly, but stay with me because this exact framework applies to any AI you're trying to evaluate. So before you even open a platform like Braintrust, you need to plan your eval. And I mean actually plan it. So I've got a Google Doc here where I map this out before touching anything. So the problem we're evaluating is simple. Which AI model is a better friend? So I broke down what being a good friend means into 3 dimensions. First, collaborative planning. A good friend doesn't just let you do all the work. They engage with you, they contribute, they help you think through stuff. Second, intellectual conversation. You want a friend who actually can go deep with you on ideas and not just validate everything you say. And third, emotional attunement, meaning the model is aware of, understanding, and actually responding to your emotional states in a way that makes you feel heard and supported, not just answering some literal question. So once you have those 3 dimensions defined, you can write test cases for each one. I wrote a bunch by hand, and then I use AI to generate synthetic data for the rest. The important thing is that I look over the synthetic data with human eyes before using it. I don't just trust it blindly. So once I've drafted my problem, dimensions, autorators, and test cases, I'm ready to evaluate. All right, so now I'm inside Braintrust. So the first thing that I'll do is upload my data set. These are all those test cases I wrote and generated, the goldens I created by hand, plus the AI generated ones I verified. I can see them all loaded in here for each dimension that I'm testing. Next, I create my prompt. So I click prompts in the left menu bar. I can create a new one by clicking right here, but I'll show you the one that I made. So I keep it intentionally simple. You are a supportive and friendly friend. Read the input and respond. I also add some guardrails around response length, nothing fancy. And here's something I really like about Braintrust. Once I create a prompt, it follows me around the whole platform. So when I use it in a playground or an experiment later, I'm always pulling from the same source. No copy pasting prompts into 5 different places and losing track of which version is which. Next, I go to the playground. Here, I can put my prompt and dataset to work with my scores. I can create a playground by clicking plus playground and naming it. So I've already created 3 here, so let's look at one of these. Let's look at my planning dimension. Once I have my playground, the first thing I do is create a scorer, also known as an autorater. This is a secondary AI model that grades the outputs of the model I'm testing. And I know what you're thinking. Isn't that subjective? Yes, it is, but that's how we evaluate AI today. And brain trust makes it really clean to set up. So let's look at one that I already made. And this is where I need to be precise. So I say something like read the input and grade the output based on these rules. And then I define what bad looks like, what okay looks like, and what great looks like. I use a percent score as the output. That gives me 0 to 1. I map great to 1, okay to 0.5, and bad to 0. Once it's created, I give it its task, which is to run against my prompt. So I click the plus task button and add the prompt I just made. You'll see it populate right here. All right, now I can run it. So this will have brain trust generate outputs for every test case in my data set. And within minutes, I've got scores for every single response. Doing a quick gut check here, some of these scores seem wrong, so in this case, I might want to go back and adjust the prompt. Once I've done that, it's time to visualize my outputs. I click plus experiment to export this to an experiment, and then I name it something descriptive, like labeling it if it's ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. And then I'll create the experiment. Once I've created it, I go to experiments in the left menu and I can see all the data laid out. I see a graph up top in the experiments view that show me how the models stack up side by side. That graph is what I actually came here for. So I ran all 3 dimensions: collaborative planning, intellectual conversation, and emotional attunement. And here's what I find. And note again that these are the default models at the time of making this video. So overall, from a simple prompt and autorator, ChatGPT scored the best across my naive prompts and autorators. And that's interesting because there's this assumption going around that Claude is the most human-feeling model and ChatGPT is kind of losing its edge, but the data here tells a different story. ChatGPT holds its own. So if I'm building something like a companion app or a mental health tool, I won't sleep on ChatGPT. It's also worth paying attention to the duration and token columns for these use cases. Latency and cost do matter a lot, especially when running conversations at scale. Now, the bigger takeaway from this video is not which model won, it's the eval system behind it. This workflow applies to any AI product, whether I'm building a customer support agent, a sales assistant, or a text generator. I define what good looks like, turn it into evals, run experiments, and iterate. And this is exactly why tools like brain trust exist. It brings evals and observability together in one system. Observability shows me what is actually happening in production, where the model fails, and why. Evals let me take those real failures and turn them into structured tests. Then I rerun my system against those tests so the same failure does not happen again. That is the full loop. You take production signals into evals, evals into improvements, and improvements back into production. Companies like Ramp, Stripe, and Notion use brain trust to ship and improve AI products faster because testing and real-world feedback are part of the same workflow instead of separate tools. Brain trust basically gives you the infrastructure to run that loop without stitching everything together yourself. And if you want to go deeper, there is a brain trust AI eval course linked in the description that walks through the full setup. It takes you from understanding why evals matter, what they actually are, and all the way to building and scaling a full evaluation system in practice. Thanks for watching.